I'm not a fan.
Right. Ray don't sweat. Ray was
having a
glistening.
ball.
Listen, I
was sweating.
danced legit. I clocked legit about 14 hours of dancing between Friday and Saturday. I legit danced from like 2:30. Left that thing at 11. We went to the club in Atlanta and shut that thing down at 4
You had a
a.m.
ball. I was jealous.
4 a.m.
I just made your phone see a whole charge that long.
It didn't.
Oh, okay. You be going live, so like my phone go live 2 minutes later. Low battery. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you was doing it. I was watching you run and the acts, like it was a good lineup.
It was so good. They had good time. It was timed. It was on time.
What?
Yeah.
Island people be running on island time and black folks time.
Right,
But
it's a kind of combination. So
yes.
What is black people time? We can talk about that.
We can talk about. You want to
call
talk about
it
that?
Madagascar time because it actually is a time zone that is just not lined up with what we got right now.
I know for
Somewhere in
sure
Africa, far in Africa.
that on the islands everything is slow.
Yes.
So, did you get a chance to share, or do you see it on the?
I saw that.
How long we have?
We got 3 minutes.
So just
Yeah. So we should be.
All right, so I gotta turn my volume down because I'm special needs, and random stuff happens on my phone.
Okay, so you want to share to.
But you always watch it. Why don't you ever go live on it?
So right there, you could tag or whatever, and then just
Don't
hit
you? Your
post.
page. Just because you're watching it, other people don't see it. I was like, you just watch it yourself.
I didn't know.
That's how that
Is that
Anna's
why
watching.
I'm
I'm
not
like-
doing it? So I don't have to sit there and watch it when I share it?
Why would you?
I mean, if you want to say you don't have to.
Terrible.
You want to say
Oh, sorry, and I'm the one with the dang computer degree, and I don't know this.
Yeah, you just share it and then
Yeah,
just
you on your page.
It's live from hers.
Yeah, go to
So
post.
I go live on my phone.
Yeah.
All of this
Yeah.
is being recorded. Smile,
Sorry,
smile for the camera.
I really did.
But
The
see, more
blonde,
followers,
See it
though.
now?
Yeah, you recording the
the blonde right now is from the light bulb that just went off.
We got 2 minutes and 15.
Get it together, people.
Okay. Whew.
They don't have a script for the script, so I don't know why they had that up there.
Oh,
They
so
have
I
it
don't
up
have
there
to
now.
worry nothing about the
Oh my
pledge,
God.
right?
Yeah, you do, because that's what the pledge prep. You have to promote that the pledge is coming.
What is that? I got 2 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. It's not on it. We just have to tell them that it's coming up. I tried to look for it on there. I didn't see no script over here, so we just talk about it.
Okay, so what's that?
This is something. Oh no,
Please drive message.
I guess, but that party is going on now, so that's a lot to be saying when it's starting today. Like the party
I
is.
can't see.
Okay, so we're going to improvise. They'll never listen to our show.
That's what I did.
We
That's what I
always
did
do
with
what we
my show.
want over here anyway.
I improvised once I got done with the whole thank you for listening to WRU. I was just like, yeah, thanks for listening. Coming up, we do have our pledge drive. It's coming. It kicked off tonight at Starland Yard and call it a day. We got a minute and 13.
Call it a day.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I mean, not like those who actually check it don't really listen. But sometimes they might be listening.
big brother. Big brother.
Yeah. Other than that, oh, you got the schedule right here.
No, they must know. I don't check my email.
Just in case you didn't see it over there, Ray. They wrote it again over here. Ray, it's right there too. Just want to make sure
How
you
long
see.
we have? I'm not reading that.
No, again, that's not today. That's going to be starting next week. You can say it starts on Monday the 7th or whatever, but it kicked off today. So
Okay.
right from the 8 o'clock. No, wait, we got 30 seconds. So you want to start?
Okay, so I'm here. Let's see what I
All
see.
right, y'all. We about to turn these microphones on, so everything you say gonna be.
I'm
on the
good though. I
microphone.
need to turn it.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah,
turn it. You got to
yeah,
be in
please.
your mouth.
Oh, all right. You just say got to be in your mouth.
I mean, pretty much. I mean,
That's what he said. Never mind.
we ready?
8 seconds. All right, here we go. You can cut that off. Good evening. You guys are listening to WRUULP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with
Global
Global
Soul.
Soul. You guys have tuned in tonight. It's Friday night at 8 o'clock. It's Let's See Who My Friends Are. You guys know what this is, right? This is our opportunity when we bring somebody from our community. We bring them in here in the radio station and we just chit chat. We have us a good hour of talking about who our guest is and what they do in the community and how they do what they do. I am your host here, Miss Ray Carr, the Fit Hypnotist. I keep saying, if you see another Fit Hypnotist out there, they're a duplicate. They're a copy because I am the original.
The original.
Yes.
This is your ear candy, your social voice radio co-host, the guest that has now become an occupant. DQ Smooth.
We also have here tonight, we have Miss Ayana Daly. Y'all know that voice. She's always here.
How y'all doing? I'm like, I was the co-host, but now I'm that
Here
same
we
person
go.
on the couch
We're
now.
not going to handle
Why?
this on air tonight.
She's her.
Okay, fine.
Also, we have in here with us someone who's been here a time or two.
I brought a friend, but back up.
What's going on? Oh, hey. Cameras in the faces? Yeah. I'm that friend that just pops up
Like in the
sometime
mouth.
unannounced.
That's what's up. That's what's up,
Yes,
Kareem.
Carmack.
Carmack.
What?
Oh, Carmack, Kareem, Carmack. Yeah, Carmack. There we go.
Yes. And also tonight, you guys, I have here in the station with us Mr. Charlton Bradford. Jefferson. Yes, don't get quiet on us because we were chit-chatting before the whole thing started, and this is what it's
glad to be
about.
here. I'm glad for the invite. I mean, with everybody in Savannah, just the fact that y'all have me on, I am so just, thank you.
You are quite welcome. One of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later on tonight is that Brad, and that's how you go by, right?
Yeah, I always say Brad, like Brad Pitt, but I don't have the six-pack. I'm working on it. I mean, I just like to eat too much, but I do go to the gym. I try to
Brad
work
Pitt
it out.
don't have the melanin. So yeah, what?
Hey, I like that.
So
I like
he
that.
need
I like
you
that.
hang up using
yeah,
you.
You're
There
right.
we go.
I can only be me.
There we
That's
go.
it. That's it. I can only be me.
Exactly. One of the things we'll talk about a little bit later on is your involvement in the 100 Black Men of Savannah. That's something I'm super interested to hear about and to hear about what you do and how you do it. But one of the reasons why I wanted to have you come on here was because of that, because you were sharing some really good things about the community. But in addition, one of the things that you do on a regular basis that I find super entertaining is that on Facebook you do your gym chronicles, right? So that's one of the things. If you ever are looking for some good entertainment on Facebook and some good things to read, tell us about Gym Chronicles.
So, can you hear me? Is it good?
Yeah, you good. They
I
don't.
can't hear. I don't.
Y'all don't really have to. As long as we, that's what we hear.
Okay.
I can't hear at all anyway. I don't have no. You know, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
know,
that's
that's
all
Hit
that
the
matters.
rug. On the couch.
It's a lot of people that know me. I like going to the gym. I go to the gym on a regular. I try to make it to Planet Fitness at least Monday through Friday. That's my goal. I try to make it every day.
Blessings.
And I
And
try
you
to,
actually go inside?
yeah.
No. Okay.
I go inside. I get my workout on. And I try to do it early in the morning, be done with it, and then I can just, take the rest of the day and say, you know what, I did my hour in the gym. And it's kind of like, that's my selfish hour. That's the 1 hour that, it's really all about me. I don't answer phone calls. I don't answer texts. I just go in there. I put my music on. I work out. But what I notice is that it's like every day in Planet Fit, it's a story. It's like people come in there and it's so hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm the kind of person, I love talking to people. I love interacting. So being that I'm a regular, I'll see people and I'll talk to people and I'll say things. And then funny stories just happen. And I find myself saying, you know what, nobody's going to believe this. So I just started making some chronicles. I start talking about, regulars that I see in there. A lot of older guys are in there. And this one guy, and it's such a, it reminds me of Martin, when, Martin and that old lady always had the beef. It's an old guy. I don't know that we have real beef, but it's like he's always coming at me with something. And I feel like, he old. I was trying to respect my elders. I can't really go at him like that.
In the
But
gym,
sometimes-
there is no intimidation. So
But I don't think he got that memo. Cause he say stuff like, I was sick one time, and you know they say if you sick, you know you go in there and sweat it out. And I'm trying, and you can tell I'm sick. And he like, well, why you stay your sick behind home? Now you in here getting everybody else sick.
Oh,
And I'm
no.
thinking to myself like, I can't wait to get old so I can just say whatever come to my mind.
Well, I'm glad you more respectable than I am. See,
Did you spray like the handle? Because
It
don't
don't
I
matter.
always, I do everything.
It don't matter. 'Cause
Okay.
my thing
Everything.
is, I don't like doing. But you spray the stuff down. But you touch the spray bottle, right?
It's
So
Oh,
my
wow.
thing-
Here we go.
We are, but I have a love hate with the gym anyway because
Yeah,
people come in
only-
there and I'm like,
It's about 2 out of 5 of us in this room that have a regular gym.
yeah, they go to
Yeah.
a gym
I'm
that
not
goes to a gym.
Regimen.
Well, hold on.
And-
Carmack got something to say.
Gym side weightlifting service. When you know we have to lift them pillows occasionally, and you turn the that takes a lot of work.
Oh, no. You was gonna say
And then when you
something
have to like
intellectual.
go to the restroom and like you have to go and get up out, you have that grunt to get out.
That's one whole squat.
That's gonna be in the Chronicles on
done.
Monday.
Like you
We're
gotta.
gonna talk about that on Monday.
Like no, you gotta.
But y'all see what kind of night it's gonna be.
Oh no! It's the ladies that's in the gym
Oh,
and one gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I'm not pointing out who's not in the gym.
I let you.
but-
I don't go to the gym. I get exercise. I
You
don't
in the
go
gym,
to a gym. I don't have a
Yeah.
problem saying that.
I didn't know. I was.
if-
I have a
Oh,
whole.
we can tell you.
so if you said 2 out of 5, and
Oh,
So it's 3 out of 5.
It's 3 out of 5.
I know she stayed because
Well,
I know, yeah.
fit hypnotist. She
In
in
my
the gym.
mind. That's all I'm going to
Listen,
say.
and I gotta tell
I'm
you,
gonna leave it at
the
that.
way we first met, I saw her working out with somebody, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I hope this person know what they're in for. 'Cause I was just like,
I don't want to go there.
she be giving people the business.
Oh.
Yeah,
yeah,
listen.
I can
no.
believe it.
See,
Yeah.
and that's the
Yeah.
thing.
I
Typically,
can
those
hang
be
for
my
like 2
clients that I
days.
see in the office, and I tell them, I say, you know, I'm not the same person here that I am out
Right.
here, and they don't believe it. And
And I'm
then,
the Gemini.
You wasn't ready either, though.
and the thing is too, typically I'm in there working out about
Yeah.
an hour before clients come in.
I feel
So
bad for them. I say, and I be looking at them, they be all smiling and happy, and I be like, you have no clue what's going on. And I just put my head down and whistle.
They be like, ha ha, you pity the fool that goes to work out with Ray. I hear you.
See, I mean, you
Oh.
see, so
Oh, yeah.
all this time I've known her, you never heard me ask to work out with her.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
can
Now, we have separate regiments. I can't hang. I go.
well, y'all know
But
it's
I'm not-
Friday night. It's 8:00. We always gotta ask the question, and we'll try to run through this as quick as possible because
You got a minute and a half limit.
a minute and a half limit. Okay, we'll try to stick to that. I always ask the question. I say, "How was your week?" and "How will your weekend be?" I think that's critical to know on a Friday night. So, Brad, you are our guest. So we'll ask you that tonight. You know,
Oh.
how was your week, and how will what's your plans for the weekend and things like that.
So the week, I'll take this, super busy,
Mm-hmm.
but I will never complain about my plate being full
Mm-hmm.
because all I ever wanted to do was eat.
Ah, that's what's up.
No, it's been
I'm
great.
just
Some of the I'll say respectable people that work at the sheriff department.
Mhm.
They donate some helmets to the 100 Black Men of Savannah to go along with some bikes that we have. We got to get some bikes fixed up and cleaned up, and we're gonna be giving them away. One meeting after another. Sat down with a big corporate sponsor. I can't say the name just yet, but they looking to do a whole lot of stuff with, the 100 Black Men of Savannah, as well as some stuff within Savannah. So super busy.
Yeah.
Friday's the day, I wash clothes and everything and clean up the house. And I'm like, okay, got what? No, yeah, I do wash clothes. See, I can
I'm just saying, you would not. That's not something that people would.
You
actually
cut it to
think
his
about.
time now. Keep going, sir.
And this weekend, I got a mentoring session
All right.
with the kids. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that, and then Sunday I'm gonna just sit on my butt and watch some TV.
Good.
Next
Who's next? Who wanna tackle the week? Ayana, you go ahead and
Your time.
Well, for the sake of not complaining, I had a horrible weekend. It felt like it was the worst. But what I decided to do was go back from the rubble and go to ground zero and remove the stuff that I didn't want to and rebuild. I mean, the important part is the foundation, not the building that was built on it. You know, you can rebuild.
Yeah.
So my weekend, I hope it to be magnanimous.
magnanimous. Nice word. Nice word. Who else? Go ahead, Mr.
Time clock, is
Ahmed.
that right? Is it no time?
Let me get.
You still,
Okay.
you still on?
I'm trying to keep mine brief. Honestly, it was sort of a rough weekend away, but just like September was a long month, very long month for variables and reasons. But I did celebrate life as we also celebrated another life transitioning. But did he fly back over? I hear what you said. Either way.
Because in the headphones it's scruffle.
Oh, well, that's rather unfortunate. But at any rate, but so I'm glad, October, new harvest, this time of year, fall season and stuff too. So I'm just kind of excited about, moving forward, get some other stuff done. Kind of like you said, regroup, rebuild.
Yeah.
So I'm good now, or we'll be good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. GQ.
Looking forward.
You-
Going to Pinewood. I'm excited about that tomorrow.
My week has been great.
Mm-hmm.
Ups and downs. Car accident happened, so trying to get that taken care of. But got the life, health, and strength, so I'm good with that. I'm not at fault for the accident, so now I just got to fight the insurance people. Got my medication that I needed for multiple sclerosis today, so that's probably like whatever. I had some good old Benadryl. We know how Benadryl is. So I'm just kind of like, all right. People like, how? I was like, listen, just listen to what I'm telling you, and let's just get it moving. I'm not. Just know the viewpoints expressed in the following program not necessarily those of WRUU, its license holder, or its staff. The following program contains subject matter and realistic language that some listeners may find objectionable. Listener discretion is advised, because that's how it's going to be tonight.
That's
But
how-
we got a guess.
Goodness, that's how it's gonna be tonight. I'm gonna have to keep this microphone away from you, sir. But my week was wonderful. It started off just resting up from a crazy weekend. But the week progressed. It is what it is. We gotta work in order to live and survive and support ourselves. So I did a bunch of that this week, while trying to maintain and hold on to a good positive attitude and try to do my best every day to keep pouring positive things into the universe. Even,
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad everybody had a good week. It's not been such a great week in the news, right? And trying to figure out what our other people's topics is tonight. What did we settle on tonight?
Do you want to stick on did you hear about the forgiveness that the brother did and the hug? Like, which pinpoint do we talk about in the case? I mean, she got found guilty, so that's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
But she only got 10 years.
I guess
And
we
then the
chose
brother
to
did the
talk.
forgiveness. So, I mean, most people I've seen going around, like, where you be able to forgive the person that kills your brother or son, or which way you forgive somebody that has murdered the person in your family, and being willing to give them a hug.
Yeah.
So I guess the topic is, are you willing to do that, or willing to do it publicly, and things of that nature? And how did you feel about the whole hug and stuff, whether it was from the brother or from the judge? How did you feel about the hug?
I can, give my answer that is the politically correct answer. It is good to forgive. That forgiveness isn't for the other person. Anybody that knows me, that knows when I talk about the idea of forgiveness, how I kind of look at it, like we ask God to forgive us of all our trespasses, and typically we're asked to forgive one or maybe two things that another person has done to us. So I would say that it would be hard to do, but I could understand, the importance of forgiveness, not to the other person, but to the person that's giving the forgiveness. However, in such a high profile type of environment, I think that regardless of whatever was done or not done was going to be scrutinized. So this was something that I could tell from jump that it was going to be scrutinized. So why didn't you, And, in that scrutiny, is that scrutiny worth that moment? And for me, that moment kind of took everything away from what the importance was in this trial. And to me, the importance was a brother forgiving, someone for that act. To me, the importance was the precedent that it set for, various things that Black people have been fighting for in the United States.
Yeah.
And that hug and that statement just kind of overshadowed everything that whole case stood for in my eyes.
Yeah.
So sometimes, our selfish, and I say that really loosely, our selfish way of wanting to make ourselves feel better isn't necessarily what's best for the situation and society. So that's my whole opinion on that, without diminishing anybody's, you know what I'm saying, views.
But, well, I can go ahead and just even say from scratch, honest. And my brother's like my best, not like he is my best friend. And I know everybody's forgiveness and different things might come at different places and different times. And I'll admit too, even if I might have felt that way, you wouldn't have gotten that platform on national TV after everything that had just went down. Like, no, I would not. And I think even Botham's mother had said that too. She was like, not only am I not at that point, but I don't want what my son did to take away from the severity of what she has done. Like, that should not, but it has, unfortunately, in the media, has been highly overshadowing the point of maybe we might have got a little progress. There was a murder verdict, and though I do feel like 10 years was, well, even other commentators like judges and stuff was like, oh, for sure she'll probably get 20 years. So the 10 years was like, what?
And the hug even overshadows
Yeah.
the idea that she only got 10 years.
And then and it's one thing for the defendant's family to come do that. Now for the judge to also and give her her Bible and I'll admit, because I from working in news and then I just like watching a lot of certain court cases and some of the I've never seen anything like this from a judge, even from a victim's family, really, at least not in that public setting.
And so, wait, on night court, or what is that, people's court, they do that kind of stuff too. For performance. I would say like on people's court, I mean, it seemed like it was a performance. Like, oh shoot, this is going to be big. Let me get in there and get a hug too. We still don't even realize that it has nothing to do with the thing, except for, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I profess myself to be a Christian. And they're out there saying that we want peace and love and we want things to be better, but then they don't express what they believe. And this was a prime example of them saying, okay, I agree with forgiving. I thank you for the justice, though. So it's my point to put my first hand forward to do things differently.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that, to me, but in a sense, it also was a victory, and it didn't have to be on TV. You could have done that privately and had the same impact.
True. I agree with everything, but my thing is this, and I'm going to speak like you for a quick second.
Go ahead.
Because my views is not the view of the 100 Black Men of Savannah or the 100 Black Men of America. But even with saying that, I'm so cautious and I'm so thoughtful of what I say and what I do, because in this day and age, we take snippets. We won't take what I said before or what I said after. We'll just take a short snippet and use that and we'll exploit that to make a point. Yeah. And I think what we as African Americans, as blacks, have to realize, we have to be very mindful of when that camera is in our face, what we say and what we do, because how I feel may be how I feel, but they're not going to say that's Brad's thought. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say that's Black people's thought. And you got to be very mindful. And I think he did what he had, the brother did what he did for forgiveness, but now, if I get shot tomorrow, they're going to look at my brother and my sister and say, well, why can't you be forgiven like him? And that's unfair to the next person. I just think we got, as blacks, we got to be very careful, especially when that camera's in our face. So I don't fault him, but I just think we have to be mindful of how we
What's
act.
going on?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then also to mention that the judge was also a black, African American female. And like you say, they take snippets. If you watch the court case,
Yeah.
she came down, she hugged all the family members.
Right.
You
right.
know, she hugged all the family members, and then she went over to the defendant and hugged her as well and gave her the Bible. But we didn't hear about the hug that she
Right.
gave
Exactly.
to other, you know,
Exactly.
to the family
Exactly.
members. We only hear and carry that portion of the story.
I was going only because I watched the live, so I did see her do that. That was just unusual. Period. Sometimes,
Yeah,
because it's kind of like you allegedly, as a legal, should remain kind of, you know,
away,
from
neutral.
it.
Yeah,
But she did, and you're right. She did go greet them and talk to them for a few minutes, for some moments, and then she
Yeah.
went over to. But it was a very interesting moment.
But see,
Yeah.
I didn't have that
It was
luxury
after
of
the
watching
case
it.
was
So after the case closed, she can do
today
what she said.
you're saying that that's the first time I'm hearing it.
yeah.
Because
So
I will admit,
I didn't
thank
follow
you,
the
my
case
brother,
like
for
that.
admitting that too, because I
Yeah.
don't know what they was talking
I
about
didn't.
when they started.
I
Yeah.
mean, and that's the thing, and that's how kind of news, and that's why I say that platform, that moment, was going to be highly scrutinized, and it's like we knew that, you know, everything, you know,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
knew that, you know, everybody was sitting on pins and needles
I guess
waiting.
maybe here's my only other advice about it too, to a small extent, and I'll keep it brief, because then it I would hope then if this is how they feel going forward, then the same would be a lot of if that was the shoe on the other foot. If there was a young black man sitting there, would you be willing to say, okay, hey, you're gonna do your time, but we're gonna hope that this will rehabilitate you, and or whatever term people want to use,
Yeah,
and that you would come back out differently
yeah,
versus, this is what we think about you. We'd rather you stay away as long as you can, because when you come back in society, we think you're going to recidivate anyway. And like, I don't think the same.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I don't know. I mean, there might have been cameras and obviously the courtrooms where it has happened, but we don't hear about it or see it too often.
yeah, and
So,
and I absolutely agree. And I think, you know, great time to kind of segue into, you know, really talking to our guests that we really know that we really know, you know, people's perspective. You know what I mean? It's always easy for us to kind of sit back on the sidelines. Like, I've seen so many terrible things said about that judge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's always okay for us to kind of sit back on the sidelines and kind of infer from our perspective what their point of view is, or what she's thinking, or, you know, what made her do that. However, once we get to know people and we get to know what their perspective is, we get to know why it is they think the way that they think, why it is they say the things that they say and do the things that they do, is a little bit different. I tend to kind of work a lot with people and emotions and things like that, and I can see that had that been something that wasn't so publicized and highly covered by the news media, that could have been a beautiful moment of people being people.
Right.
However, you know, when we add all these different things to it, it turns into a circus. But we have
Everybody seasoning it with their own flavor.
Exactly. But we have our guest in here tonight. I appreciate y'all helping me and talking with me about the topic today. I think it's a big deal that we start kind of sharing our opinions about some of the things that's actually going on. But Brad, again, thank you so much for coming here and doing this.
I'm glad to be here. Like I said, it's so many people in Savannah that's doing so many great things, and you know, on Friday night for you to invite me here, when I can think of 10, 15 other people that probably should be sitting in this chair other than me. I'm very humbled by it, and I just appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely, and refer those 10, 15 people to me so they can come on here and you know, and chit chat. However, where are you from? Are you from Savannah? Where are you from?
No, well, so born and raised in a little small town called Ridgeville, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's about
Wow.
2.5 hours from here.
Mm-hmm.
I got here in 2015. I'm military
Okay.
guy. So got here in 2015. I was stationed at Hunter Army Airfield.
All right, who?
My wife and I got here, and we fell in love with Savannah.
Yeah.
I mean, Savannah is so beautiful. So much to do. The food, I mean, we fell in love. I got closer to the point where I was getting ready to retire, and she said, look, I love Savannah. I want to make Savannah home. I'm like, you done been following me for all these years. The least I can do is say, okay, that's cool. We can make Savannah home. Bought a house, and at the time, I thought Savannah was just River Street and Broughton Street. I thought it was all, St. Patrick's Day and having
Yeah.
fun. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
I
when
didn't
you're
know
in
it
the
was-
military, it's
What?
like
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know it was
That's a
a.
lot
It,
about Savannah.
yeah, it was a part where you gotta drive fast through. You gotta keep your eyes open.
The
I
borders.
didn't know that, and the more I started, because I figured if this is my home, this is where I'm gonna be at,
Right.
then I need to be an able, body of the community.
yeah.
And I started realizing it's a lot of stuff going on in Savannah. And my thing is, after doing 22 years in the Army, I can easily sit on my couch, watch ESPN all day, watch TV all day, and just complain about youth, or I can do something about it. And to see the mentality of a lot of the young people, I said, you know what? What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Met a couple guys here and there and heard about the 100 Black Men of Savannah. And I was like, man, that's a really
Nice.
great organization.
Yeah.
Sparked my interest. Went to one of the galas. I mean, saw what they were doing. Was so impressed. And I said, well, you know what? Let me be a part of that. Let me do that.
Yeah.
And I think that was 13, 14.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just about to ask, like, what year was that?
Yeah. and since then, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been doing it.
We have to take a couple of seconds and play some information on the radio, and we'll come back and we'll chit chat, because I do want to, hear about the 100 Black Men of Savannah. I make a joke. We went to, because I look around for different organizations and things like that to go to, because at one point while I was trying to build my business, I was just going to events after events after events. And one of the things we went to was I think it was a scholarship type of event for the 100 Black Men of Savannah. This was maybe a couple of years ago, and we went out there, and I'm an aspiring comedian. So excuse me, but I always say, like, we went out there, searching for the 100 Black Men of Savannah, and really it was just
3.
it was 100 black women looking for 100 black men in Savannah. So I definitely want us to talk a little bit more.
And we
Yes.
we can do that because, like you said, there's nothing off limits, nothing off top. So we can get into all that.
Okay. I was like, wow.
Okay, so hold on a second. Let's take this quick break, and we'll be right back.
Oh, see, how come I can hear her, but I can't hear her talking?
You don't need to hear
That's
you.
really me.
My bad.
How about this?
That might be turned down. Then she's gonna have it where the level is right in her ear
Mostly with those
more than
that
anything.
you hear
And it might leave the headphone real close.
Yeah, this is the left side only.
value
Yeah,
diversity.
this next one is only like 54 seconds. So
Our
about 2
programming
minutes.
reflects that. So you tune in.
Are you enjoying yourself?
And
I am loving it. I mean, this is a delight.
Know this because
Oh,
Sometimes I
man.
don't put on my. Then somebody else crying. I'm like, maybe I should. I think that's what they said.
Feel
Try
welcome.
to create.
That's
I'm like,
how the whole vibe is. We are actually friends. I don't know about him. They're actually brothers. I'm friends with him
generous to nature.
Oh,
Thinking I'm the I just showed.
because I met him. I'm friends with him now,
yeah.
but I'm more friends with him.
It's all good, it's like you remember Love Jones, the one dude, Bill Bellamy was kind of hating on everybody. Everybody loved him.
Everybody loves him. Like, oh, bro.
Everybody had that one dude.
Hey, Ron,
Yeah,
I
sure.
hope you
I
still
don't have any crazy
watching.
friends.
I won't
That's
tell
because
them.
I am the crazy
Yeah,
friend.
yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at
I think one or two of my friends, I'm pretty sure if I put them to the test.
You're not the crazy friend.
No. Well,
You are not the crazy. I would say your brother as being the crazy friend.
my brother would say in his famous word show, just so dumb. But no. I'm playing.
We got 30 seconds, y'all.
I am not.
Also, we have to.
Like I said, we got no. We're not. We just gonna prep. Saying
No, you don't. You always have very
gonna
good
ask?
intellectual
Did you know?
No, see, we ain't got to do all that. We just prepping and saying this is coming up next week. That's all we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't got the campaign
Mine,
for it.
I gave it up on the whole.
It was.
Oh,
Financial contribution that fits within your budget.
5
Thank you for
seconds.
your support of community radio with Global Soul.
yes, thank you for your support, Savannah, Georgia. This is GQ Smooth. We are here with Let's See Who My Friends Are. I am the co-host of the show. So, Ray Cards, let me take over this segment real quick. And the only segment I'm taking over is WRU is holding its annual. What is it? Fundraiser. There we go. I was like, what's the name of the thing? Pledge Fund. That's what we're hosting. Thank you. But the Pledge Fund is coming up next week, so make sure you listen out, call in during those times. I know every year we have a package set up for if you donate at least $107.50, you will get a special prize. So starting Monday, we will be doing that. Tonight we did have our annual kickoff party at the Starland Yard, so that's where we're just coming from, having a good time. So we are back with Let's See Who Our Friends Are.
Yes, y'all know that this is an all-volunteer radio station. We are here. We do this because we love to talk. No, but we love, putting out our content out there to the community, and your support allows us to continue to do so. So we do ask that you check out the website, support the radio station, donate a couple of dollars to us, because that's how we stay on the air and,
Keep
stay
our lights
doing
on.
things like this. Exactly. Keep our
Exactly.
lights on and the radio waves flowing without incident.
Right. No
Right?
gerbils, animal cruelty.
Yes. But
Degraders in the back.
we continue our conversation here with Brad. We are talking about the 100 Black Men of
Why are you
Savannah.
laughing?
I'm laughing because, like, legit, when we went out to that
Right.
event, it was like, oh,
What?
100
Oh,
Black Men in
good.
Savannah. Okay,
All
we're
3 of y'all.
And that's the first thing
Oh my gosh.
people always think that there's 100 members. They always think that we young and scrappy, and what you don't realize is they do. Like, I mean, think about if somebody said you're going to the event and it's sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Savannah.
Ooh.
Your mind is, Adonis. This.
Yeah, I got cute that day.
Yeah.
I got real. I mean, I was there for the right reasons, but I got,
Very
extra
professional.
cute. I mean,
It
they
was-
said.
Professionally cute. It was not downtown. It was very classy.
Don't
cute.
do downtown is very classy. Don't do
Don't talk about my city. Don't come from my city. I get it.
Uh-huh.
And I will tell you this. You have to understand how it started.
Okay.
So for the Savannah chapter.
Okay.
Now the Savannah chapter. Think about this. Where were you when the Million Man March took place in D.C.? How old were you and where were you?
What year was it? First of all,
95.
I'm pretty old. My memory is shot. What year
95.
was 95?
Yeah, 95. So think about that.
I was stationed in Korea, giving birth to my first child. How about that? I heard some people had walked on the street. It was a lot of y'all.
Yeah, but I wasn't there.
But wait a minute, get on the bus. What was that?
Yeah, exactly. The movie
Okay, see,
with Spike Lee. Okay, so think about that. That's how the Savannah chapter got started.
Okay.
Some men from Savannah went up there, met some people from New York that already had the 100 Black Men of America,
Yeah.
and they said, you know what? Let me bring this back to Savannah. You got to think about a grown man in 95, 96 coming back and starting an organization in Savannah.
Oh no, black too?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So think about 2019, how old most of these members are. Now, we have a push, we have a drive, we're reaching out to a lot of younger men, because as with anything, as with any organization, you got to keep fresh ideas, you got to keep young minds, you got to keep people that can relate. I mean, we have an awesome team now that's a little young, even younger than me. I'm 6 years old. And we have
Don't
a
be
lot.
ashamed of your age.
We have 3 collegiate chapters: Savannah State,
Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Don't call it Georgia Southern.
Well,
and a
yeah.
Georgia Southern
Right.
chapter.
Armstrong, and then we have the one out there
He
in
wears his colors.
Oh, and it's emotional. Keep going.
yeah. So that we have 3 collegiate chapters,
Mhm.
and they do a lot for the community, especially the Armstrong.
Armstrong chapter.
Oh man, listen.
Let me tell you. I didn't want to tell you
Speak on
before you. Well, one of the founders of 100 Black Men of America, Jackie Robinson, helped start that. Right?
Yeah. See,
And in 2009, on the campus of Armstrong Atlantic State University,
Mm.
all right.
there was a group of people that said, "Hey, we don't have anything for black males, and we trying to get it started. We trying to recruit and see if you want to get it started." I said,
That's it.
"The devil's living place, yeah." Not saying that it was, not something I could. I was looking at other things to bring there, like fraternities and stuff like that, because that's what we really want.
Yeah.
But some people was like, well, we
Yeah.
met this person, it might have been Jay Jones at the time, or it might have been Dawsey. Dawsey was the only black male that was worked out there that was.
And he's the actual liaison over at Savannah State now.
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah.
first one. He was our first advisor.
And that guy worked so much, man.
Oh, yeah.
My
But that year right there,
I'm not
and
even-
then they were recruiting. I found out what 100 Black Men was about.
Yeah.
We had elections. Now I wasn't one of the people to try to recruit people to get there, but I said I'd be.
Oh, come on.
Hey, don't tell me
Go
to
to
come
the
on
back,
with
the
you.
list, the 8 list.
Yeah.
Crazy
You be
eights.
talking. Stop talking while I'm not supposed to.
Finish.
I need you to stop finishing.
Listen, if I gotta touch this,
Touch your mouth. Tell me stop while I'm talking. Let me stop.
The lukewarm guy.
But I was elected the first official president of the Collegiate 100 Armstrong Atlantic State University back in 2009.
Oh, so I'm sitting with royalty.
So when I saw it all about you, I was like, I ain't gonna tell him on Facebook. I'm gonna let it take it. We're gonna be like, yeah, and you still. And she keep talking. I got control of the mic.
You gotta give honor where honor is due.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not about egos. It's not about
Exactly.
gassing somebody up. It's reality is the reality.
Yeah.
And we just celebrating 10 years.
All the chapters are good, but I've yet to ask anything of Armstrong, and for them to say, okay, when, not how many or just when. I think that's the answer I get from them. When. So, I mean, and the seed has been planted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I have I have an understanding now. I have
Yeah.
an understanding now.
so tell us a little bit about what you guys do out in the community. What does 100 Black Men of Savannah do, and how do you enhance and help the community?
So I would tell you this.
Mhm.
Throughout my life, parents got divorced when I was 5, raised by my mom. My dad was there. I mean, he did his thing, but not what I thought. But
Yeah, you want that.
Yeah, exactly. Went out in life, being raised by a single mom, you went out in life, you experienced stuff, you got your head bust, you took some L's, you did what you had to do. But I was able to overcome a lot of stuff that if I had a mentor, if I had somebody in my life, life would have been a lot easier. And I look at my life and I say, you know what? I'm in a good situation, but imagine if I had a mentor.
Yeah.
Imagine if I had somebody that said, hey, don't do this, do that. And with the 100 Black Men of Savannah, we have so many different men from different walks that can advise the youth of Savannah and mentor the youth of Savannah no matter what they have going on. We have lawyers, doctors, police chiefs, sheriff, any entity, any occupation you can think of, we have somebody that can mentor a youth. And I always said, show me a kid that doesn't need mentoring, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Everybody, the whole room got quiet. Like,
Show me a kid that don't need mentoring.
Exactly.
Because no matter how good we think about the possibilities, there's a great possibility I could have been more and done more had I had that one person saying, I believe in you.
Yeah.
And we even have a program. We even have the Second Chance program, and that's kids, male and female. And that's another thing. People think when we say 100 Black Men of Savannah, we only deal with African Americans or blacks, and we only deal with males.
Misconception.
No, the youth of Savannah.
Yeah.
That's it, the youth. If they young and they in Savannah, we got a place for them.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, with the Second Chance, I love the Second Chance because a lot of people give up on kids and say, okay, you did this or you committed this crime. Guess what? We're done with you. I am not the same person I was when I was 15.
Absolutely.
Who is?
Right.
Absolutely. And
No.
I try to put out little tips as a former bad kid because
Represent from
you know,
That's part of the head.
hopefully my aunt ain't looking at this. But as a former bad kid, you know, and then also bad kid. And then my daughters, they look at me and they say, Mommy, you a bad kid. And then I have a daughter that's exactly, you know, a replica of me. So we can figure out which.
But it's not even. I say there's no bad kids. They're just active kids.
Exactly.
They're just kids that's trying to find their way.
Exactly. You know, and part of that, what I was saying is like one of the tips that I like to give out is say like as one of those kids, I was bored a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
And in that boredom, what kids try to do is, well, Mommy, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? And, you know, when it starts off at 2 years old as Mommy, 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 and, you know, at 5 years old is something else. When they turn, you know, 12 and 13, it's a different type of activity that they do to ask that same question, right? And now it's like, influenced by kids, influenced by television, influenced by everything that's going on around them. So, you know, part of the things that kids need is something to do.
Exactly.
And people telling them that they love them, that they care about them, and demonstrating it in a way that is kind of showing them how to maneuver through life. So that's, you know, one of the reasons why I think this is just such a great organization, you know, barring, you know, the foundations that is built on, which is amazing, but of course the mission behind it to take care of our youth and to mentor our youth and show them where to go.
And I tell people the part of the 100 I'm mainly involved with is the Youth Leadership Academy.
Okay.
And what we do, we now that program is catered from 6th grade to 12th grade. And our thing is exposure, empowerment, and educate. I took some kids, we took some kids 2 weeks ago to the Civil Rights Museum on MLK. You would be surprised how many kids from Savannah has never been there.
Never been.
And then when you get there, you be the history in Savannah, the stuff that is in their backyard. And I always tell people, you cannot put a price on exposure. When I was young, my cousin told me, he said, hey man, look man, I'm going to take you to this car show with me. Now when we get out here, act like you've been here before. But the reality was, I never been there. So when I got there, I was like, ooh, Lamborghini, ooh. And he was like, what? And so we want kids to be exposed. I know. And that's true. Like, Jermaine will tell you right now, he'd be like, I embarrassed him. Because he's like, but I had never seen those cars real. You know, it was
I won't lie, I probably would.
So the thing is, we want these kids to be exposed to so much, not to the point where they're numb to it, but when they see these stuff, they like, okay, I know about that. I can relate to that. Because exposure, and
it also builds, you know, in the mind that wonderful expecting of wonderful things. It builds, you know, that openness and the creativity. And then also, I know you say the focus isn't on black kids. However, there's a lot of black kids in Savannah. And it's a lot of black kids that don't leave Savannah. And I think what it does is starts to put us as African Americans in places where we aren't typically at. You know, so we can start to feel comfortable being in those places. Because I always say that privilege isn't something that people take. Privilege is given. You know what I'm saying? To an extent. If we see people being privileged, to an extent, we are giving them that privilege. So I tend to do the same thing with my kids, take them to different types of activities and expose them to various
Brian Dawsey,
things.
for example, I tell you, he took some kids 2 years ago, brought them on Savannah State campus, had the chef and have that staff. They had you remember that? They had a full course meal, and it was showing these kids what fork to use, how to sit down. If you get up and excuse yourself, how to put it. And I'm 40, and I was learning. I was sitting there like, wow. And I'm
Take
sitting there like,
pictures of the slides.
yeah. I'm like, wow. And but think about that. These kids get that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Head
So,
start.
yeah.
It's like they are given tools that we've just figured out how to use,
Exactly.
but we give them a standard.
Yep.
And I mean, it's just like, I would say, I'm a computer person, but just like technology, things that we thought were bonuses before have now become standards, and that's how our next generation should be taught. And don't just withhold. You're not ready to hold this.
Yeah.
I have a sword for you. You're going to be a great warrior, but not right now. You know, it's like, no, here, hold this. You will figure out how to get the strength to hold it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't even do that. I mean, it's kids, like you say, with the technology age, crazy. I've never thought that. I mean, I've heard, children don't know what a tape recorder is, a CD player is, all that. I was there working on the list. I have to teach literary terms. Never thought I'd be an English teacher, but here they're educated. Neither here there. I said encyclopedia. What is that?
Google?
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I tell them.
Wikipedia came from?
Yeah.
But they didn't, and I was like, dang, I guess it is that age. These children were born in time that encyclopedias weren't being used. I wasn't mad at them. I was kind of like, well, why do we not have encyclopedias in here? Because my mom always said, well, what if all this technology break down? I was like, I mean, if it do, I know how to use all of the above. Because I was in that age where I had to use floppy disks. So get what?
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have books anymore.
Well, that's what I was just
People
going to
have
say.
books.
That's the sad part about with certain things. I was just going to make a joke like, well, we better
Right.
hope Fahrenheit 451 don't become reality because
Right.
there will be no more.
I mean,
Yeah, we
it
know what it is.
technically not,
Books.
yeah, books is obsolete.
And now, where's
But
the best place to hide a secret? Right in your plain face. I mean, we don't read, and we don't have books. So
I mean,
why not have mentors to show us how to
Yeah.
read those books?
I mean, I always teach them how to read because my thing is, and it's crazy. I tell them I do not like to read.
And that,
I would be not that I won't
Right,
read. I
you're
know
not
how
the
to
only
read.
one,
I know how to read, but it's just a lot of stuff. We can break it on down to what we read, why we read it, how we read it, and what's been forced to read.
True.
So I encourage them at least know what you're reading, regardless.
Yeah.
You don't have to like. I like money, so I like math. I'm naturally drawn to that. I like science. I like hands-on. But me sitting there reading a book, I was like, okay, instead of me reading about you going to fly, I want to fly.
True.
And see, I told some kids the other day. I told this one. I was in what's the school? They're gonna kill me if I forget the name of the school. I was in a school.
We'll
Last
see you at
week.
the funeral.
Yeah. And just don't be hugging the people who kill me.
That's right there.
Don't be hugging. But I was at a school and I asked this one young lady. I said, "Why do you not?" Because she said she don't like to read. I said, "Why you don't like to read?" She said, "Because it's boring." I said, "Trust me when I say this. Whatever you're into, somebody wrote a book about it.
Exactly.
You, whatever." I mean, for a long time, I've been infatuated with crime novels and the mafia and the mob, only because I just love the unity. I love the way those guys stick together.
Yeah.
Right.
I just finished it was like a 5-part series.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put it down.
That's awesome.
It's because that's what, and I told her, I said, whatever you like, whatever you into, look it up. You can find, and read that stuff.
I know audiobooks are awesome. I love Audible. I started doing Audible close to like, if I look at my account, like 2010. You know, it's been a while, and I have like 300 books on Audible. And then when they started doing you can exchange books.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What?
Like
How you exchange?
Yeah, like you
Yes.
can books you purchase, you can yeah.
So between all my devices, I have books and downloads and all of that stuff, and it's nothing better to me. Like, my kids will drive down to South Florida. They'll be in the back seat knocked out, and I'm like listening to a book, and it's like a movie. I'm just in it, and I like crime novels and things like that. And so Audible books are amazing. you know, like you say, if there's something that you like or that you're interested in, somebody.
And one thing I tell people, all the programs in the 100 is no cost to the parents or the mentees.
Wow. Say that again.
Every now and then we have like little fundraisers and we ask them to help us. We don't make a kid go out there and help do the fun run or help do anything. We ask them, but it's no cost. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go on record. I'm gonna go on record and say this: if there is a cost, tell them see me,
Yeah.
and either I cover the cost or I find somebody out here that can cover.
Cover
Because
cost.
it's so many people that wanna do things, but they just they get stuck with, well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's why I was just so humbled to be here, because this is a vessel. This is
Yeah.
a way that we can put that out there. We can let them know. I mean, contact me. Yeah, I mean, I'm always in Planet Fitness. Come talk
Which
to me.
one?
Come see
Which
me.
one?
Don't run up on this
Which
one.
one?
No,
Well, I guess apparently you.
Ogeechee.
Oh,
Let
Geechee,
me know,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Like, I'm to the wall. Play with which one? Oh, Geechee. All right.
They everywhere, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm in, yeah, because they put a new one in Bluffton. If you go across the
Oh,
bridge
yeah.
in South Carolina, they got one in Bluffton.
I work in South Carolina, but I ain't
Yeah.
noticed it in
Yeah.
Bluffton.
They
They
popping
got-
up left and
Yeah.
right. They
And they
popping
have the
Buy
white.
some
Yeah.
stock in it.
Yeah, you said earlier, Brad, that you have overcome some things in your life. One of the things that once we exchanged information about coming on the show, one of the things that you said is that you have battled with cancer before.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because it's not something that you can look at you and say, "Oh, he's had a battle with cancer before."
Yeah.
So tell us about that and how that has, changed your life.
Well, I always tell people, when you get that notice, or when somebody tells you you're a cancer patient, you have cancer, you look at things different.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, at the time, I didn't do cigars, I didn't do hookah, I didn't smoke the Mary Jane, I wasn't smoking anything. But they say 1 in 25 men can end up with head and neck cancer, throat cancer. A friend of mine had pancreatic cancer, and when they found out, she said, they told her, they said, look, you done had this thing for a year and a half.
Wow.
They said, all we can do is make you comfortable.
Yeah, they said it was too late. They said
Yeah, it was too late. And she told me, she said, look, get checked out. She said, if you don't do nothing else, get checked out. And, when you talk to people and they say that, you be like, okay, whatever. But to know that she didn't have that much time left,
Yeah.
I owed it to her.
Yeah.
So while she was still living, I went and got checked out. I was adamant. They did a couple tests and found some stuff. Then they said, let's go back and let's pull some samples out your neck and pull some samples. And they said, you must have a guardian angel because you have cancer. And I'm like, are you serious?
Wow.
And it's like, look, we're going to take you to surgery. We're going to take it out. You're going to do chemo. You're going to do radiation. And you're going to beat it because we caught it in time. I talked to somebody else and they said, well, what the docs didn't tell you is that if you have cancer and it goes unchecked, a lot of times it spreads up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
With just been in your neck.
I'm bopping around here thinking I'm fine.
Wow.
And this cancer, somebody else would have been sitting in this chair right now had it not been for her.
Yeah.
And I always say, it's what do you say to somebody who saved your life?
She's like your mentor.
Yeah.
Really, that was like your mentor.
Yeah.
That's what mentors are supposed to do: give you warnings and teach you what they've experienced in their life.
Yeah.
So you're actually doing what she would want you to do.
When the thing about if anybody knows, when you go through chemo, when you go through the radiation, chemo, you sit for 6, sometimes 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
And you can either listen to your music, you can read a book, but I had so much time to think. And at that, when you think about this could be it,
Yeah.
I could not be here anymore, you start to realize what's important to you. And the first thing I said is, you know what, dude, you too mad. You need to stop being mad.
Angry man.
I don't. You remember the mad rapper? Used to be on
Tell them why you mad, son. Tell them why you mad.
You get mad with people.
Showing that age, I don't know nothing about that.
Right over here, I'm sitting there like,
It was on Bad Boy. It's when Puffy came out.
Y'all,
The Bad Boy era.
wait a minute, they're telling their age.
Yeah.
So high, so high.
10 or actually under 10.
Yeah,
by the
Well, no,
time.
that's y'all shouldn't have been listening to me.
Exactly.
That's good.
Even when Biggie and Tupac both, but either way,
My parents were like,
we were.
my parents like, no, we listen to
Yeah.
Earth, Wind and Fire.
But my thing was, you get upset with people.
Mhm.
People go home and they don't even think about you.
Yeah.
And you at your house, mad,
Yeah.
you cussing everybody out, kicking the dog, and these people not even think about you. I said, you know what? What is it that you really want to do? what is it that you really want to be about? And I said, you know what? I want to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cliche, but I said, let me do what I need to do to be happy. Let me enjoy life, and whatever I can do in the midst of that, I'm gonna do it. And I told her, I said, you know, I will try to be what you are, because I mean, like I said, they told her, they said, you got 4 months, 5.
Yeah,
I mean, she did 5.5 months, and that was it. But they told us, hey, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
And to me, that was, you know, how you have them defining moments when you can always look back and say, yep, that's why I would tell people, look, man, if you met me 5-6 years ago, I'm not that dude.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to
do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Man.
that
Like,
ain't
don't
me
get
no more.
revenge. Like, I'm sorry.
But that and shout out to Candler Hospital.
Yeah.
Listen, I had to get radiation Monday through Friday every day for about 3 months. And if those nurses and doctors had a bad day, I never saw it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and
You gotta be handpicked.
oh my goodness.
It takes some special people to work with people with cancer, and then also work with people that's going through chemo, because it takes a toll on you. And I think something people don't realize is that if you have a 3-month stint of chemo that you have to do, you can go 48 days and miss 49 days. You gotta start all over again from day one. So, you know, I think, you know, realizing and kind of knowing that, and then working in healthcare and having to keep patients at a mental place where they can keep on coming back. Those people are very, very blessed, and very patient people, and very loving people. And Candler is amazing for that. Believe it or not, y'all, we got like 3 minutes left in this show.
Wow.
I know, right? That means it was great. Brad, we always ask, and you got about a minute to do this. We always ask at the end of the show, the guests, you know, we say, let's say all these millions of people are listening to you on the radio right now. What is the message that you want to put out there into the world, into the universe, into the ears of anyone that's listening?
I will say this. In this materialistic world we live in, don't let anybody tell you that you don't need money, but don't let money be your motivation. Because I tell people, I used to chase money, but now I chase happiness. And I used to chase degrees, but now I chase knowledge.
That's it.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
And nothing else to add to that. Not a thing else to add to that. Message!
Right? I'm about to say message.
You guys,
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. And this too. Now that you have been here and been on this side of the board, you are welcome here anytime.
Definitely be back.
You are absolutely a friend. Look, they ain't left.
I was kind of forced this time.
They ain't left. But absolutely, you are.
For a little while. I just thought about that.
We'll talk off air. But yeah, thank you so very much for doing this. Please know that you are welcome to come anytime and hang out with us. We post our questions on social media. If a topic just piques your interest and you think, you know what, I want to come in there and talk about this. If there's events that the 100 Black Men of Savannah would like to get out there, we would love to do so. It's a non-profit organization, so we won't get in too much trouble.
You all have been on our list. You all donated here before.
And October 19th, we got an oyster roast at Skidaway Park. Come on out there. It's going to be awesome. JD Music Group going to be on.
It's a party. Thank you guys. You've been listening to Let's See Who My Friends Are. I'm your host here, Ray Carter, Fit Hypnotist. We have my co-host here.
Your ear candy, your social voice radio, GQ Smooth.
Of course, we have Miss Ayana Daly.
Hello, everybody.
And Carmack.
Enjoy your weekend.
Yes, and of course, Brad, thank you so very much for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You are listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with
It's
Global Soul. Y'all have a wonderful weekend.
Nice.
Right on time.
There's so many of us.
That hour went by fast.
Yes.
It always do.
Yeah, it was
And then when somebody
You
take up
trying to
most of
get
your
this-
time.
Yeah,
I know you're not talking to you. Cut me off and just ran with it like you was like, follow the yellow brick road. You just was like,
That's
you know
all the
what?
other big road.
Yes,
Yeah,
he went
you
off to see the
did.
wizard. You
It was
did.
like,
You
About
did.
what?
We're about to
You
get off
cut me
here.
off.
Thank
I
y'all
don't
so much for
remember if you-
listening and
Because I ain't
watching.
do it. I don't like being cut off.
Talk to
I
y'all
treat people how I want to be
later.
treated. I don't cut people off.